Yo, what's up my fellow brethren, it's your boy Elusiive and welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the 5 best ways to improve your aim in Call of Duty, whether it's for BO6 or Warzone. So if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and sub if you're new, but not that's over, let's get into the 5 ways to improve your aim in Call of Duty. Alrighty brothers, we're on Nuketown and custom games. I feel like this is the best way to describe the 5 ways to improve your aim. So let's get into it. For the first step, it is settings. Most important thing out of everything. Because if you can't control your horizontal and your vertical or your settings in general, or they're too slow or too fast, nothing else really matters because you won't be able to aim the way you'd like to because you can't control your settings. So step 1 is settings, and I have a settings video that I literally just posted up like a few days ago. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. I'll probably leave in the comments. It's also on my playlist for Black Ops 6. But settings is key. You want to be able to control your horizontal, your vertical, and your ADS sense, because if your ADS sense is too fast for you, you won't be able to stay on target. Too slow for you, you won't be able to stay on target. And if your horizontal is too fast, you'll overturn your enemies and then end up having to pull back just to aim back at them and get yourself killed. And that's why your settings are number 1. If you can't control them or if they're not good, you know how the outcome's going to be. So settings is number 1. Number 2 is to rely on your left stick more than your right stick when you're aiming down sight. Because a lot of times when I see people aiming, they'll rely on the right stick and not their left stick. The right stick, you're kind of fighting against target assist, and you're trying to rely on your own aim rather than the target assist. And say if an opponent is moving left and you're trying to track them left with your analog as well, and they do a hard shift right and you try to snap with them, you're going to kind of overshoot your opponent or miss them entirely, and you're kind of fighting against your target assist. So that's why you want to use your left stick more than your right stick. Your right stick you want to use more for like micro movements, and your left stick you want to do for all the big movements. So say if someone's moving right, or you're moving right or left, or whatever the case may be. Say if this guy is running that way and he's shifting left, rather than moving this and losing target of him, I would shift with the right stick and slightly move my left stick for the micro movements to stay on target. And since there's no target assist, it's a little bit harder to stay on the mannequin. But you guys will see it's a lot easier than trying to flick this way. You never want to rely on your right stick because you'll overshoot your target or fight against target assist and it'll get you killed. And that's the second best thing when it comes to improving your aim. So rely on the moving for your character and not the moving for your screen. Step 3 on improving your aim is know your weapon. So whatever weapon you're using, you're going to want to know the fire pattern for that gun. Because not all the weapons' fire patterns are the exact same. So if you have a gun that has a vertical and straight horizontal kick, you're going to want to know that, because this will help you to understand the weapon so you can counter it by pulling down on the analog. So if your gun is just straight vertical, for example, like the SWAT, or should I say the Growl kit, is like straight vertical, so you know to counter that vertical is to slightly pull down on the analog and the gun will not move. As you guys can see, it'll stay in the same spot. So you're going to want to move your analog to counter the gun's natural recoil pattern practically. So that's why you guys want to test out the weapons, whether that's in firing range, custom games, or whatever the case may be, to know the gun's recoil pattern so you guys know which way to move your analog to help counter it. So as I mentioned, if your gun is straight vertical, slightly pull down on the analog and the gun won't go vertical. If the gun is vertical and then it goes left, then you're going to want to know around the time the gun will go left. So say if the gun had a 50 round mag and after 20 bullets, it starts kicking left, then you're going to want to wait around that 20 bullet mark and start pulling down right to counter the left pull. Honestly, you guys don't even really have to know the exact bullet count. Once you feel like the gun starts kicking left, you're going to want to pull diagonal right practically. So you're going to want to do the exact opposite of what the gun's doing practically when it comes to pulling down your analog. Because if you're not countering your gun's natural recoil pattern, you're not going to be able to remain accurate on the target due to your gun kicking way the hell over here, vertical, or wherever the case may be. So that's why you want to know your gun's pattern and counter it. So that's step 3. Step 4 is to warm up before getting into a game. So warm up with whatever weapon you plan on using practically. So say, I don't know, today you plan on using the Jackal PDW because you're trying to unlock dark matter on it or whatever the case may be. So you're going to want to go into the custom or your firing range and warm up with the Jackal because you plan on using the Jackal majority of that day or whatever the case may be. So now you're warmed up and you know the gun's recoil pattern so you can counter it. And now your aim is now improved significantly rather than going in and raw dogging it and not knowing or being not warmed up and playing against people that have been on all day and you're going to get absolutely bullied. So warm up can help out. Another secret step, which is I'm going to call step 4.5, which is snap aiming. Snap aiming used to be very reliable in BO4, which, I mean, it still is reliable. It's just not as reliable because they start building weapons towards now attachments nerfing ADS speed and sprint fire and stuff like that. Back in BO4, they didn't have attachments nerfing your ADS speed and sprint fire and stuff like that. So that's why it's not as useful, but it's still useful. Snap aiming is practically spamming LT when it comes to a target. This kind of like relies on the target assist pool. And if you're snap aiming while strafing, your gun will practically target pull you to whoever is there. And that also falls down to the previous steps as I mentioned before when it comes to rotating with the left stick. Because this is rotational target assist and snap aiming is just target assist. So now you're getting the target assist and rotational target assist. It's going to be a lot harder to miss your shot. So that's why you're going to want to snap aim while rotating. This helps out significantly. This doesn't work as good when it comes to weapons that have slow ADS speed, but you don't have to aim all the way out. So if the gun does have a slower ADS speed, you can like half aim it and rotate with the left stick and it'll pull. It'll just not be as fast as this gun, for example. For every gun has a different ADS speed. Now this is very reliable on SMGs because SMGs have naturally fast ADS speed while also being extremely fast when it comes to the movement speed. So majority of the times you're going to use snap aiming on SMGs more than anything else, but you can use them on ARs. You can use them on any gun, but SMGs is going to be the most reliable. So that's step 4 and 4.5. Now on to the final step, class setups. If your class setup is not built towards the weapon's weakness, I don't care if you know the gun's shot pattern and everything else, it's going to be a lot harder for you to stay on target because your gun is not built towards that. So say if your gun's weakness is vertical and you decide to slap on rapid fire, which nerfs your vertical recoil even more, it doesn't matter if you know the shot pattern because the vertical is going to be too hard to control. Have you guys ever used a weapon, for example, probably in Warzone you guys have, if you picked up a weapon off the floor, since it's like default loot, and when you tried shooting it, the recoil was just absolutely horrendous. Even though you're trying to counter it, it still didn't help. That's what I mean by the class setup also helps out the weapon. So you don't want to build a weapon to nerf it even more practically. So you're going to want to know that gun's weaknesses and strengths and build towards its weaknesses practically. So if the gun's weakness is vertical, then slap on some attachments to help counter its vertical. If the gun's weakness is horizontal, slap on some attachments to help counter its horizontal. Or if the gun's horizontal and vertical are both good, but its ammo capacity is too low, then build towards its ammo capacity. So in other words, you're going to want to build towards the gun's weakness and its strengths to make it better. And I have many class setups. If you guys want to know the best class setups for every single gun in this game, they're going to be in my Black Ops 6 playlist. I have practically the best setups that you can for every single gun. And if you guys want like an updated class setup on whatever gun, you guys can let me know down in the comments and I'll make it. But yeah, that's why step 5 is very important, because if you can't control your weapon, you can't control your aim. And if you can't control your aim, you're not landing your shots and you're going to get yourself killed, which practically contradicts this entire video on how to improve your aim. And that's why step 1 is settings, so you guys have the best settings suited for you, so it increases your possibility to be more accurate. And that's why step 2 is to rely on your left stick more than your right stick, so you rely on rotational target assist and target assist in general for the snap aiming, which is step 4.5. Step 3, knowing your weapon pattern so you can help counter the weapon pattern by building towards it, which is also step 5, your class setup. So you build towards the weapon's weakness, and then you also counter the weapon's recoil pattern so the gun has no recoil at all. And that's practically all 5 steps right there. But yeah, anyways, these are the 5 ways to improve your aim when it comes to practically any FPS shooter. But this is more for the example of Call of Duty, whether that's multiplayer or Warzone. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And if you guys want some more tips on how to improve your aim or how to get better, whatever the case may be, or if you guys feel like I missed a few steps or whatever the case may be, I can make a part 2 for this video. Just let me know down in the comments. But yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to slap on the post notifications so you miss the latest and greatest videos. And I'll see you later, guys. Peace.